Hola, clase. And we're back. And today is the first, not probably, but is the first day of, I'd say, a first official lesson, right? And that is, without further ado, the environment is us. Now I'll put big emphasis in us part. So, nonetheless, I mentioned this before, but it's imperative, right? So I'm going to map out the journey today, but it's just imperative that before we even get to speaking about anything related to climate and its connection to clean energy, we as a community must be able to understand and ground ourselves in the fundamentals. And that begins with our relationship with the planet, our relationship with the environment. And I'm going to say as much as I can say in this video, as much as I can, because my camera is about to die. So, as always, bear with me. And we're showing up how we're showing up. So, let me just quickly map out our journey. This is going to be more so the next several videos that you'll see on The Environment Is Us is going to be more of an overall conversation / storytelling experience. So we're going to be charting our path, right? Charting our path, grounding ourselves in who we are, our relationship with the environment, and what this conversation means for us holistically, right? And climate and clean energy, by reflecting on our historical relationship with the environment, especially and specifically through the lens of us, right? Us Black folk, us Africans, us indigenous, us people of color. So we'll talk about how our relationship came to be, how over time it got distorted through major mechanisms such as colonialism, and very much through the storytelling of all of this. We will get to present day in talking about where we're at as a collective, and the reason why we're currently unable, right? There is a veil on so many of us to simply see ourselves in natural environments, basically outside. So I preface this all to say, it's like, how can we be able to even remotely see ourselves working in environmental careers and sustainability and sustainable careers, and careers that directly correlate to and go back to the environment, if we can't even see ourselves outside, outdoors? So I'm really excited to spend time storytelling all that has happened and leading into all that has come about. So and I'll just big picture too, we'll share that from there. After we talk about the environment, like establish our relationship, right? Reconnect. We will then add that layer of climate onto it, followed by clean energy. And I will continue to say throughout this course that clean energy is an extension of the climate space. All right. So yeah. So let's begin, shall we? I want you all to first close your eyes. Close your eyes, okay? And think about the environment. Think about what comes to your mind when you hear the word environment, outdoors, nature activities. Seriously, close your eyes for a second here. And as you close your eyes, I want you to start thinking about asking yourself, what do you see? Okay? Do you see yourself and whatever you're envisioning in nature? Do you envision yourself doing some kind of activity in nature? And take a moment to vividly see that. Because what I'm going to do now in a second, I'm going to flash up some photos. Boom. Bam. Blam. Blase, blase, blase. Pow, pow. The terms that are generating these photos that you see are outdoors, nature, and the environment. And some of these photos, some of these pictures that are being generated, what's being generated on Google, and these are coming from Google, may very much all look alike. But I want you to pay special attention to thinking about what you've envisioned and now what you're seeing, and start considering in your observation, what are the things that you're noticing? Are there similarities? What are the differences? Right? And what you imagined and what is not being shown and depicted. Are there any trends? Right? Who are they depicting in some of the images? Are they depicting a specific type of person? What they're wearing? What they look like? Now, when I typically do this exercise, of course, I immediately have populated, and of course, when I came up with this exercise and sharing this with youth, the reason why uh, I wanted to show these photos was because you can begin to clearly see some types of trends, right? Maybe it looks white, maybe it looks elusive, maybe it looks abandoned, maybe it looks peopleless, right? And getting further to the point of why I'm showing you all this. I'm showing you all this because I want you to see how these external images, particularly those related to representation, how those images in representation deeply impact our internal thoughts, our awareness, and understanding of the environment, nature, and the outdoors. And, essentially these external images, right? What the world is showing you of what looks and what is the environment, the outdoors, nature, very much shape and have shaped our perception of what nature looks like, how nature, the environment, the outdoors are defined, who nature, the outdoors, the environment is for, most importantly, who it belongs to. And I'll say, as a result, those things influence our internal beliefs and define, in a very subconscious way, what is possible and what is accessible to us. It defines what belongs to us. So if we very much in these images aren't seeing ourselves, aren't seeing representations of ourselves, aren't seeing how we look to ourselves, how we understand and we embody ourselves. If that is what the external world has depicted and has shown us over time, that becomes an internal belief, believe it or not. So these external representations, whether the environment or any other aspect of life, right? Because we can apply this grander, because it is grander. Gradually, these things become internalized beliefs, and these beliefs may actually be false in reality, because many of us know that these photos, or many of us may not know, right? Or there could be a group of us that knows that these photos here may not align to what we thought. But because this is what, again, the external world has told us is the reality, it reprograms our mind into believing that, because that is what the external world is showing is the reality, despite in actual reality it being false. And I'll tell you very much so that that is intentional. And again, over time and through, of course, history, and we'll get into the agenda behind this, so many of our communities have been indoctrinated to believe in these false realities, particularly when it comes to the environment, where we've, as a culture, have accepted these false realities as such being true. So fast forward to where we are currently, and again, we're going to get deeper into this. This is very much the beginning of why it's so hard for our communities, despite history, despite everything, for us to see ourselves in nature, see ourselves in the environment. Why it's currently so foreign for so many of us to see ourselves tending to land, gardening, going on hikes. Because you may not have known, and that's why we're having this discussion, we have internalized what has been shown to us, these false realities, these false